Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Code. One topic, no script. And today, as you can see from this beautiful background here, we are talking top 5 animated comic TV shows. Jamie, if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and give this one a start.
You can do whatever your little heart desires today.
Right on. Well, my little
except be wrong.
That's why these lists are subjective. So I'm not wrong. I'm right on this list.
Just what's your number 5?
My number 5 to start this off. 2 of them had to go on this list, and that is Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Oh, well, no, you told me they had to go together because I thought it was the same part of a show.
They do go together, and I'll tell you why.
Because there's a crossover.
No, let me explain this. So Transformers and G.I. Joe, the animated series that were out in the 80s, both of these came out roughly around the same time, and they both did exactly the same thing, which was to promote a toy line, but also expanded their universe into the comic books that everybody knows and loves from back in the day. The Transformers miniseries that turned into an extended series, in the G.I. Joe comic book that Larry Hannah wrote and did absolutely wonderful stories. Both creators of the comic books fleshed out the world that bled its way into the animated series. This Transformers and G.I. Joe were pinnacle 80s entertainment as far as I'm concerned. When I was a kid, the mixture of Japanese animation and American animation, back then I didn't care. I couldn't tell the difference. I just absolutely loved watching it. This is what I got up on Saturday mornings for. And that Transformers and G.I. Joe, wonderful. The movies, we've had that conversation before, but major trauma for kids in the 80s too. And then you have season 2 of Transformers going in with the aftermath of the animated movie. My God. Yeah, Transformers, G.I. Joe, my number 5.
See, that reminds me of your 1.5 shot that you did. Like, as a top 5, that still would have been, you had to pick one.
Those two go together, though.
No, they go together in the sense of how they were prepared, not in the sense of shows.
Well, in my train of thought, they're right here.
And we found out why Jamie always says Tim's wrong.
And what do you have for your number 5, sir?
I got the X-Men animated series
at number 5. Wow.
Because so it was a great series. I had to go back and revisit it. I've seen some episodes. I remember sitting there Saturday mornings with some cereal or some toast, just watching Kids Fox. Or Fox Kids, whatever it was called.
Fox Kids, yes.
Just to let everybody know, I don't have 2 picks at number 5 because that would mean there'd be 6 for a top 6. But no, hearing that,
yeah, you knew what time it was.
Yeah, no matter what time it was, you knew the show was on.
Yeah.
Gave me my first real experience to the X-Men overall, but really more of the Gambit part where he became popular before you had to start reading them and have aneurysms. Halfway through the book, and then
what is he saying?
Yeah, no, you're just like half the book you're reading, and you're just like, I didn't understand half this. I got the fighting. He threw a card.
Wow.
But no, and then introduction to Cable was amazing.
Yeah.
Mr. Sinister, which I didn't even really know about. What season was it? 2, 3?
I think so. 2 or 3.
Sonny will let me know.
Yeah.
But having him as a villain, I didn't even know who he was until I had to rewatch it a couple months ago because of Disney Plus. So it was it to me at number 5. It's a good set, like, standard for me on that, because of the fact that first team really got to see, and it really, I don't know, it changed the way animated series looked moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. It set the standard for what a comic animated series could be.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Tim, what's your 2 number 4s?
Well, my 2 number 4s are just one, and that would be Invincible.
Very good pick.
Invincible. I have not read
that was my number 6.
Was it honorable mention?
Yeah.
Right on. I have not read a whole lot of the Invincible comics, but I was familiar enough with the character and the storyline when the animated series was announced. And the episode that sealed it for me was the main bad guy, who is supposed to be a good guy. I can't ever remember his name. Ultraman or whatever it is.
Oh, Omni-Man.
Omni-Man, yeah, beating the ever-loving snot out of that universe's version of the Justice League.
Oh, you mean the Guardians of the Universe?
Yeah, and that version's Flash, like obviously, he's moving so fast and sees everything in slow motion, and he feels everything in that type of motion too. So while he's breaking his hands on Omni-Man, trying to fight for the life of his teammates, it's all an eternity to him. And that whole episode, I was like, wow, that's wonderful. That set the tone for the rest of the show. Invincible, absolutely fantastic. Great pick for number 4.
Yeah, I like the Invincible. Like I said, it just came out at number 6 for me because at points I need to read it in order to understand it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the person that says the book's better. I watch both, and I mean I watch one and read the other, and then make my decision at that point.
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, my number 4 is Green Lantern animated series.
Ooh, okay, the one that was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
right on.
That one is also on HBO Max now. But yeah, it broadened the Lantern horizon with the different emotional spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
You had a new character with the Red Lanterns as Razor. It just the way it worked, like having Aya come on, everything about that show was just pure, like almost perfection to me. Like the animation style was a little more built like the toys almost.
Wasn't it like a mix of cell animation and CGI?
Something like that. Yeah, it was close. But just to see like some of the favorites come back and they broaden the universe, and just this, like, there's just so much going on in that they had a whole universe to run, and we only got a fraction of it before they just got rid of it.
How many seasons did it have? Just one?
Yeah, 26 episodes. But an amazing 26 episodes. I hope HBO Max brings it back.
That's what I was going to ask you, is if you think that it did what it needed to do in 26.
No, it got to the point where I can understand the season ending, but the way it ended should have been season 2.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I have not seen but a handful of episodes of Green Lantern. So on your recommendation, I'm going to go back and watch that. I'm going to try and watch it with Ethan, see how he feels about it.
Now that you're watching, on my recommendation, Harley Quinn finally.
Exactly. Well, okay. So that's a good 5 and 4 right now on both ends. But my number 3 is one show, but 4 members, and that would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ooh.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they took an obscure indie comic book at the time, flipped it on its head, took away a lot of the mature subject matter, and turned it into a Saturday morning kids show, and blew the Ninja Turtles into superstardom. Everybody knows the song Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and just on and on. Everybody has their favorite. This is where the masses got their favorites. Mine was Raphael and Donatello. But dude, the animated show, this show was perfect. It gave the turtles their bandana colors, and what was the animated show bled into the first live action movie, where they kind of went back into the indie roots of the comic book, but kept the most popular bits of that animated TV show. Dude, it was a great time to be a kid watching Ninja Turtles every Saturday. Absolutely wonderful.
No, sad part is that was another honorable mention.
Oh my God. So, okay. So what's your number 3 then?
Batman, the animated series.
At number 3. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was the show when I was talking about X-Men that set the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Batman, the animated series, took that standard, balled it up, threw it, and says, we're going to drive now.
Yeah.
This is my era, and they did just that. It was like,
There's a reason why X-Men was on before Batman.
yeah, and just everything they did. It was the first show made on complete black construction paper at that
Yeah.
time. You had the cavalcade, the rogues of of Batman. You had Matches Malone. You had every aspect of you had the first appearance of Harley Quinn
Yeah.
in the animated series. We don't want to get in the first appearance of cameos. Go check out Breaking the Code we did on that, where Tim was wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, do that. It's a fun time. But no, I have a ritual for Christmas, and it's the Joker Christmas episode. I always watch, and it was the first episode on the DVDs, but now they got them in actual order on HBO Max, which I feel is weird because I'm like, oh, watch the first episode. It's Christmas.
Wait a minute, that's not the first episode.
That's not episode. What's going on here? Why isn't he on the tree swinging back and forth? But no, it led into so many more spin-offs after that for the Batman, and catapulted him into a different being at that for this time. So
it pushed the limits of a kid's show, and it as much as it was done for kids, I don't think it was intended for kids. You know what I mean? I think it was intended for the young adult and adult watchers, because I mean, you can go back and ask a lot of people, what were you doing in high school at 4:30 in the afternoon? I was watching Batman. Yeah, so dude, that's a great middle pick, Batman the Animated Series. Well, all right, I'm gonna go with my number 2 now, and my number 2 is your number 5, and that would be X-Men.
And this is why you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
X-Men, dude. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say about it that you haven't already said. I go where I want to go. Yeah. But you knew what was coming on when it came on, and X-Men and Batman were usually on in the same block. And X-Men, that show, with the storylines that they took from comic books, past storylines and ones that were even going on at that time, in a half hour, they did better than any movie or other live action TV show could have ever hoped to do on screen. And it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, X-Men the Animated Series, and now they're going to be coming back with more on Disney Plus. I know Sunny's super excited for that.
Oh yeah, and they're bringing back majority of the original voice actors.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that is my number 2. What is your number 2?
At my number 2, I have Gargoyles.
Gargoyles, right on.
That was my childhood at that point. Everyone was watching Batman or X-Men, or they had their own size, and I was sitting there watching Goliath tear people apart. Now, Gargoyles was just out of left field. It was a totally different theme. It was a totally different idea. You had Hudson, Brooklyn, Lexington, Demona, like so many. It just blew the doors away. Yeah, you're still getting toys today, and it's only lasted a couple seasons.
What, Walmart's got that one?
Oh no, Walmart
1.5.
Walmart's got like all of them.
Yeah,
and I need them, but they're like $30 a piece.
I think it's like NECA Toys put it out. They put out that big giant tall Goliath.
But it had so many different emotions, and storytelling was so different at that time. That's what drew me in. I was always into the different. I never really stuck with the mainstream until I got, older, and was like, DC and Marvel. Woo!
Well, some of the voice actors in Gargoyles were Star Trek actors from The Next Generation.
Yeah, and I don't talk about that because that doesn't matter.
It matters to me.
Yeah, just like having 2 number 5s.
Oh my Lord.
But no, it really pushed the pace for me when I was a kid. Like, my parents knew as soon as that was on, they weren't getting my attention.
It was quiet time for 30 minutes.
No, it was, is he okay? What's he doing? Is he messing up something? And it's just me sitting there watching Goliath just beat the bricks off everybody.
Wow. That's wonderful. Gargoyles, it didn't make my list, but that's a great number two, which makes me even more curious to find out what your number one is. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we're going to go through our 5 to 2s and then reveal our number ones. So from 5 to 2, I have Transformers and G.I. Joe.
6
Number
and 5.
4 is Invincible. Number 3 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My number 2 is X-Men. And my number 1 animated comic book television show is your number 3, and that would be Batman the Animated Series.
Hey, I would, like I said, that's almost everybody's, and it's great. But like I said, I'm a different breed, I guess.
Yeah, it's good reason though too, because I mean, like we had talked about just a few minutes ago during your number 3, this show was, even though it had a rating of Y7 on television, it definitely pushed the limits of that. You had the introduction of Harley Quinn. You had major storylines with Clayface, Killer Croc,
which was voiced by Ron Perlman.
Exactly. This catapulted Kevin Conroy's career, revitalized Mark Hamill as a voice actor.
And they're still doing the voices to this day.
Exactly. They are the standard for Batman and the Joker.
Like when you read I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
I was going to say, I was going to say this earlier, but I was waiting for you to kind of lean into it with the Mark Hamill and Conroy thing. Like when I'm even reading a comic with Batman and Joker in it, those are the voices I hear in my head, aside from the other ones that tell me to do other things. That's what the medication's for, ladies and gentlemen. But no, I can't read a comic without doing the Mark Hamill laugh and his way of saying bats and everything else. Like, and then just the way Batman presents himself and talks to the Joker, I hear Conroy all day.
Yeah, and his difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman was very 180. Like the way he talked as Batman, you knew he was Batman, but the way he talked as Bruce was very warm and very approachable.
Even matches Malone.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Batman the Animated Series is my number 1. Jamie, go through your 5 to 2s, and then I am very curious to hear what your number 1 is.
So number 5, I got X-Men Animated Series. Number 4, I've got Green Lantern Animated Series. Number 3, I have your number 1, which is the Batman Animated Series. Number 2, I got Gargoyles. And number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is the show that people didn't want to watch because you have Batman the Animated Series, and that is Batman Beyond.
Ooh, okay.
That flipped the script for me being a Batman fan.
See, and the funny thing was Batman Beyond was done by the exact same crew that did this.
Yeah, but it was, you didn't know what you were getting out of it going into it. You didn't realize that Batman was old and broken and couldn't use the suit no more, even though the suit did all the work for him. And to take a new guy like Terry McGinnis and be like, well, I guess you're going to do now. You still had, Ace the Hound with him, but at the same time, the new bat suit, the new villains, the what do you call it? Blight, for instance, was just off the charts. Like some of those fights, even was it the Royal Flush Gang?
Yeah,
their
wasn't
version.
That in the first season?
Yeah.
It
was just seeing him try to be Batman while Batman's behind him trying to treat him like a Robin when he's actually Batman.
Right.
It blew the doors. It set different standards. It made animated series fun again. To me.
That Batman Beyond was one of those original creations that went in all the right directions.
It hit on every cylinder on that one.
Yep, absolutely.
For me. And that's why I say, like, I'm a creature of a different breed at that point, because I liked everything that everyone wasn't watching. I wasn't into the stuff that was like, well, this is big. Well, no, this is awesome too. Why don't you check this out? No, I'm too busy watching this. Like,
but you need to watch this because it's just.
I wouldn't tell anybody. Once they found it, I'd be like, I've been telling you that for years now. Just like Harley Quinn.
That's wonderful, Jamie. Batman Beyond is your number 1.
Yep.
Guys, that's a great list right there. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, all right. Before we get out of here and end this episode, Jamie, you got anything to say to our wonderful audience that is watching right now?
Guys, as always, follow, like, subscribe. We are on the fight for 50 here on Twitch and the race for 100 on YouTube. And at this moment, so if you're seeing it right now on YouTube, we're at like 91. So get us to 100.
Yep.
If you're seeing this right now and you're on our Twitch page, even later on than not being live, give us a follow. You know, we're always trying to build this community be better, and we can't do that without you. But we've already got a good community started. We got a good foundation here. No toxicity, no issues, no problems. Everyone's friendly. No matter how wrong you might be, you're always right. So remember that. Guys, always be kind to one another out there, and you never know when what anyone's going through at that time. Even making someone smile can change their day. So guys, always be kind. And as always, I will see you in the next one.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, find us on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on TikTok, over on YouTube, on Twitch.
Which we're on TikTok's Discord. The other one. Don't worry about it. Shiny
all
Discord.
Over there. Yeah, Shiny Discord. All the places that you could possibly think for socials to find us on, we're on there. All you got to do is type in the Codex Station, and that is where we will be. We're also on all podcasting platforms. Look for us there. Type in at the Codex Station so you can listen to our wonderful voices and not stare at our beautiful faces. And as Jamie said, we've got a great community here, guys. But if you're not following, we want you to, and we want you to be a part of that. So please do so.
Our chat is always open, and as our Discord.
Absolutely. Once again, my name is Tim. This wonderful guy over here is Jamie. This is Breaking the Code. We are the Codex Station, and we will see you next time.